did being in law enforcement affect your family?
I didn't get married till I was 34,
Okay.
so I've been in law enforcement a little bit. No, not really. My
Okay.
family, my wife and my kids like it that I was a federal law enforcement officer, probation officer. They liked it.
Uh,
Wasn't doing a lot of shift work. I was working weekends and nights, but not a lot of shift work.
yeah.
Going back, if I was working at the sheriff's office, working shifts and weekends,
Hmm.
that probably would have been a challenge for the kids. Where my wife, you're not there for Christmas or New Year's or birthdays because you have to work, or I can see. And if I was married when I was overseas in the combat zone, that would have been very challenging.
Yeah.
If I had kids, and
Yeah.
there's some colleagues I had over there that had teenage kids, and they're just dealing with teenage issues, but you're 5,000 miles away and trying to manage that. I was thankful I was single at that time, because that would have been. I had a new respect for married people in the military after experiencing some of my close friends that were just really challenged with what was going on back home. They weren't there to handle it and deal with it,
Yeah.
whether it's kids or spouse or. But law enforcement, there wasn't any huge effect. No, I mean, my wife worried about me when working patrol and working midnight. I worked a lot of nights and swings, but
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
and like you said, yours was a little bit different situation just because you weren't on shift and maybe you're not working a whole bunch of things. But la- this will get into one of the questions I always ask, which will be interesting because can you look back from when you started, when you were in the Marines up until the time that you retired? I mean, Marines not so much, but when you start getting into law enforcement, especially when you're in probation, you're dealing with not the best people in society. Do you, can you look back and have you changed your view on how you see people in society?
for sure, yeah. I was telling some people, I retired obviously, but I'm working at a sport retailer now, and some of my young colleagues, they ask about that career, and I tell them nothing that humans do, like some big thing makes the news or some social media post about something did something funky. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing blows my mind anymore about what people do, whether it's sexual deviancy or criminal acts or just deviant behavior or just brazen whatever. Nothing surprises me anymore. Like, well, that's what humans do. I mean, even in probation work, there's some officers that they refused, not that they could per se, but they had a lot of issues with managing and supervising sex offenders, child porn
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
But they would make it personal. I always just, it is what it is. I've never, I mean, but some were, vocal about, I can't do this. I can't do sex offenders. Well, why? Well, I don't agree with their conduct. Well, you don't agree with drug dealing and homicide and violent crime. I mean, I always kind of pondered that. I respected it,
yeah,
but you can't just say that as a probation officer. You have to have some of those cases. Let's work through that and
yeah.
just not make it personal and just deal with them as people and what they're supposed to do. And I always found that interesting, and I don't know how to explain that, but
But
um,
it's interesting the answer you gave because it's like, hey, just gotta nothing surprises you anymore. But
right.
do you? I don't want to say it's not a paranoia, right? But do you look at people different in society? Like, for example, a lot of cops will go into restaurants and go, I always sit with my back to the wall, right? You've seen a lot of people, you've dealt with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Do you have a jaded sense of how people are?
there's some. Yeah, I tell my
Yeah.
wife, I go, that guy's on somebody's caseload, or that girl. I mean, you can pick them out, and I'm sure you could too on a lot of people. And I don't. It's not a negative thing. And
Yeah.
I try to find the good in people, but there's a lot of knuckleheads out there, and some dangerous people. But I do things like that. Random people that guy's on someone's caseload. You can tell. Yeah, I can. At least
Yeah.
I think I can. And I want so bad to go up and talk to him and say, "Hey, you ever been convicted?" Or, I don't. But we were just on vacation last week over in Western Washington, San Juan Islands, and here comes a bunch of people, and all my friends with another family. I go, that's caseload right there. All four of them, guarantee it.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's kind of a joke, but there's some jaded. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of nasty people out there that would like nothing more to victimize another human being.
Yeah.
It's not about your own decision, using drugs or steal stuff, but just truly, there's some ill intent people.
Yeah.
around that,
Yeah. For
You
sure.
know, we all look out for those things and try to be wary of. I don't necessarily put my back so I can see the door. I'm conscious of it. I'm always looking around who's coming in the door at a restaurant or whatever, but I'm not paranoid.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little jaded.